story behind my gamer tag is Robin Big was a popular show on MTV, and I would always say do work. And then one time my friends was like, Marcel, dang, do work. And I was like, that's basically what I do. Sorry, if you were expecting like an awesome story, pretty much out the window.
Why BigJigglyPanda? I've always liked pandas. I've always had a thing for pandas. Big Jiggly? I don't know. Honestly, I was sitting in my apartment one day about 3-4 years ago, and I had to create a new YouTube name because I wanted to... I made the YouTube name before I even made videos. I made the YouTube name about 2 years before I ever made a video, but at one point in time I wanted to make videos. I just never got around to it. And then I finally started doing so about 2 years later, but BigJigglyPanda just sort of came out of the blue, honestly. It doesn't really mean anything. I just like fat pandas.
So that's sort of the basic questions out of the way. Oh, and I guess my Twitter is @BryceMcQuaid. I do Twitch @BryceMcQuaid. And then my Instagram is also @BryceMcQuaid. And how did I come up with the name Bryce McQuaid? Well, that's sort of easy because I was born with that name, so.
How did you get your name? Gerardo? My parents named me. But I'm guessing you mean CaRtOoNz. That was right toward the end of high school. Just kind of happened. I'm animated and crazy as fuck and just a geek and a dork, and it just, however it happened, it came about and it just kind of stuck.
Alright, let's get to the next question, which is something I wanted to tell everybody. It's going to be about my gamer tag. My gamer tag is H2O. It's not H20. A lot of you guys think it's H20. It's not a 0, guys. It's a O. It's a capital O. So, but yeah, the H2O, I've had it for about 5 or 6 years. A long time ago, back in Gears of War, I think, I joined a clan, and the clan was H2O, and I just never changed my gamer tag. Not really an amazing story or anything, so... Alright, the next question, why is your name H2O Delirious? I said this in my last Q&A, but I'll say it again. I love the name Delirious. It's just a cool looking name to me and it sounds pretty cool. H2O came from, I was in a clan a long time ago, like a water clan or some shit. And so that's where the H2O come from. You know, nothing big, nothing like, nothing at all. It was just H2O Delirious. Before H2O Delirious, my gamer tag was EXP space I space Delirious. So I was kind of like in a bunch of clans back in the day. I used to play competitively back in Call of Duty 2 and stuff like that. It was really fun back then. I loved playing clan matches and stuff back then because it was like more serious and stuff.
Alright, anyway, while we're waiting on these guys, I am Wildcat. How did you get your name, and what is your favorite game besides COD? I'm not going to answer the how I got my name one because I'm going to keep it a secret, motherfuckers. There's really nothing special to it, but whatever. I'm not going to answer it because I want to piss you guys off, so hopefully that pisses you off. Anyway.
How do you come up with the name Cryos? Also, how tall are you, man? From Cryophobia, when I played my Frost Mage, you know, the Warcraft, I changed that C to a K because I played a Frost Mage in Cryophobia or Cryophobia something. It's like, or Cryogenic Chamber. You can take it like from any sort of that where like you're kind of just like, it deals with coldness and shit like that. So I was like, all right, cool, let's change that shit to a fucking K and add a Z because that's what all the cool kids do. I'm fucking so edgy, dog. And I'm like 6'1", maybe 6'2".
So, my name is Louis, and how I got my gamer tag and how you pronounce it is Calibre. A lot of people like to say Calibre, Lui Calibre. It is Calibre. Calibre. Like if it was spelled C-A-L-I-B-E-R. Calibre. Now, why did I choose Calibre? It goes back into like, I guess I would say when I was playing Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six, Perfect Dark, I just needed a name. And if you know me, you know that I totally like the Wild West. And Red Dead Redemption is one of my favorite games. And if I could live at any time, any era, I would probably choose the Wild West that's what I'm saying now, even though I don't know. I do like the Victorian era and even like yes like the Middle Ages and stuff. But right now like the thing that's on the top of my mind as in a time I would like to go back would be probably like in the late 1800s, early 1900s when the West was wild. So since I was totally into the Wild West, I thought the characters that lived at the time like Doc Holliday, Curly Bill, Billy the Kid, Wyatt Earp, they all had cool names. So I wanted a cool name too. And if I lived back then, I would be a good guy. Sorry. I would more likely be on the law side, alright? I'd be the one turning in the bad guys. But I'd want to have a good name. Like, I'd want to be like the best gunslinger and stuff like that. So, because I was young, I thought Kid sounded cool. So, there was a lot of kids back then during that time, besides Billy the Kid. Actually, there was a couple Billy the Kids, to be honest. There was a lot of fakes and stuff, but I don't want to stray too far from my story. So, since I was a kid, I thought I would take the name Kid. Now, I needed something cool, so I wasn't going to be like Revolver Kid or something like that. So, the way they measure bullets, they use the word caliber. And not only do they use the word caliber to measure bullets, they use caliber like in ways to measure, I guess, levels of things. As in, that guy is good, he's of a higher caliber, and things like that. So I thought that it sounded supreme, like elite. It was cool. So I was like, caliber sounds cool. So the first name I ever came up with, like for myself, I guess an alias, would have been Kid Caliber. And I was like thinking, yeah, that's a cool name and stuff like that. And because I have OCD on the things I like, as in like, I totally like that gamer tag, or that name. I was like, I don't really want to use it too much. It's too cool to use. So I put it away and I flipped it around and I made Caliber Kid. So I was like, yeah, Caliber Kid sounds cool too, but I really like this name and I don't really want to use it too much. And then I felt like I was growing up through the years and I didn't want to be called Caliber. Like people kept calling me Caliber, like, hey Caliber, Caliber on top, Caliber, there's a guy in the window, hey Caliber behind you. And I'm kind of thinking, I don't want to be called Caliber anymore. I want to be called my name. And I went through a couple name changes and then I decided to add Lui and Calibre together to make Lui Calibre. And I was like, and I do have the gamer tag Calibre, like Lui space Calibre with ER, but then again, I'm like, I don't really want to use that name. It sounds cool, and it's like, I guess the best way I can explain it is like, if you buy a pair of shoes, you like the way the shoes look, so you don't want to mess those shoes up, so you buy the same pair of shoes, and you wear one pair and you keep the other one to the side. That's how I am about my gamer tags. Okay, so that's why I made Kid Caliber, Caliber Kid, Lui Calibre, then Lui Calibre with the alternate spelling. So to put the name game to rest, it is Caliber. I got it. I got that name. I chose that name because I wanted to be a Western hero with a cool moniker, nickname, alias, also known as, and I thought the word Caliber was a cool name. It fit, and you know that I'm 28 years old and I'm gonna do some commentaries. So
How would you get your YouTube name? Alright, so I've explained this before, but I know I've got a lot more viewers since then. So basically, if you don't know, my real name is Craig, and I lived in one house, and there was another guy, one of my best friends growing up. His name was Craig, and he lived 2 doors above me with his brother Kyle. And when we were like 6 or 7 years old, you know, you're just complete idiots, you don't really know what's going on. So because I was younger, and we kept getting confused, because one person would call Craig, and we'd both respond, so that get really, really annoying. And then when you're like 6 years old, you have the attention span of a peanut, so we decided to call me Mini, just because I'm younger and everything like that, and literally that just stuck. So from that going the whole way through secondary school, like high school, Craig's little brother Kyle was in my year, so he was so used to calling Mini that everyone else was like, why are you called Mini? And I was like, well, basically. So everyone just called me Mini from then onwards. And then the whole lad part came from was my original Xbox name was Mini M1N1 Rugby. Shitty name. It's a shitty name. But anyway, me and a few friends, we decided to all make our gamer tag similar. So lad is like a popular saying in Britain. So there was Kyle Lad,
ConnorLaddd, there's AlanLaddd, and then me. There's MiniLaddd. And that was the same gamer tag that I use nowadays. And then the MiniLaddd with no space in 3Ds, like on my YouTube, my Twitter, and Facebook, Twitch, blah, 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 all like that. That came from, I wanted to put MiniLaddd with 2Ds into the YouTube search or whatever, but it came up as a massive error. So I was like, shit, how am I gonna fix this? Extra D, boom, sorted. That's really shitty story of how I got my name, but that's how I got my name. So now, if anybody asks, hey, where'd MiniLaddd get his name from? You can link them in this video. Boom, sorted. How and why did Moo choose his name?
I was driving to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is known for moose. Naturally in my head, I was just thinking about moose, and what can I say, Moo Snuckels kind of popped in there. And then I was just kind of...
Yeah, Moo Snuckels did pop in there, didn't it?
Yeah. As it often is. In my head, I just always kind of break things down like that and try to think of like weird ways to say them. And then I just came up with Moo Snuckel, and I thought that would be funny. And I was gonna have it for like 3 weeks and then change it to something else, and then
It just kind of stuck.
it just stuck.
Okay, but you need to explain to people, what does Moo Snuckel actually mean?
A lot of people think of Moo Snuckel is people. There's a meme out there that the reason people think it's a fat camel toe. And
Okay, what's a camel toe? You need to explain.
you guys know what a camel toe is.
No, we don't! What's a camel toe?
Camel toe is when I guess the pants of a woman get too close to her lady parts and you can kind of see the outline in it. And a Moo Snuckel is the male version. As far as I know, is the male version of a camel toe. That's the way I was brought up.
And putting it in a curd context is when your nuts get separated as a line because your pads are too tight.
Pretty much.
Don't hate me.
I just was like, yeah, that would be a funny gamer tag to have for about 3 weeks, and then I just never changed it, and I wasn't really ever planning to be at this stage in YouTube, or I probably would have picked a more professional name.
Well, your YouTube is B&B Enterprise.
Yeah, that was a mistake. And that's really all I have to say about that.
How did you come up with the name Racingcatz? Like most of them that I've told so far, it's not a very interesting one. My cousin was signing up for a website, and he decided he wanted to use the name Racing Fish. He got that name because he liked racing, and the curtains in his room at the time was of NASCAR cars, so he put racing, and then he put his favorite animal, which happened to be a fish. I took after this example with the racing part, but instead of using a fish, I used a cat because I like cats. And that really is about it. I mean, I sometimes use Racing Cat without the Z, but sometimes I use it with the Z, and that's usually because Racing Cat is usually taken for some reason, but Racing Cats with a Z tends to never be taken for some reason.
Where'd that SilentDroidd name came from? I used to be in a clan. I used to be in a feeders clan, like, you know, those clans that get a lot of kills and feeds and whatever, montages, snipers. So I used to be in a clan full of guys with their gamer tag at the end, Droid. So when I got into clan, I had to think, like, you know, what's gonna be my gamer tag, what am I gonna put in front of, you know, and then Droid. So I was a really shy guy. I mean, back then. I'm still a shy guy, but I mean, I think I gained a little bit of confidence, I guess, because of YouTube. But I used to be really shy back then, so I was just like, you know, I don't talk that much, so I guess I'm just gonna go with Shy Droid. And I was gonna go with the Shy Droid, but I mean, it sounded really gay, so I was like, I'm just gonna go with the SilentDroidd. I mean, it sounds better. So I stuck with SilentDroidd, and that's where I was born, I guess. That's where the name comes from.
On Call of Duty, I don't think those videos really exist anymore on my channel. I did have a few. I uploaded I've been on YouTube for probably about 8 years at this point. I mean, not with this channel, obviously. This channel was created in, I think, 2011 or 2012, one of those, April 18th or something. Man, I should know these things. But I've been around for a fair while, had my, I've run my course with some channels. They didn't really take off or anything, hence, why
I'm here. I got stuck with a 7 in my name and 2 eyes. I was 12, okay? Oh, hey, thank you, Pancake Pete. Here you go, bud. Just commend you right. No, thank you. Okay, I thought he was about to do something. Running my course with these channels, I finally ended up here at the name SMII7Y or Smitty. I mean, don't call me SMI7. God damn it. Fuck. I gotta introduce myself as Smitty at all times. Not SMI7Y. None of that shit. Well, who commended me now? Was it you? Bada boom, baby. You commended.
Brian being a dick at 606. 606. Let's go to 606. Let's see what he's talking about here.
So close. There you go.
Why did you do that? I hate you! I'll admit, that's the face of an asshole, but that shit is fucking funny. Alright? Even Brock will watch that back and laugh. But that is the face of an asshole. But that's what I do. I'm the terrorizer. I signed up on YouTube called the Gaming Terroriser because I wanted to be in gaming and to terrorize and piss people off. Watch my old videos. That's what I do. I'm not gonna be all, hey there kids, gee willikers, welcome to this episode of Minecraft, episode 5031, where we're gonna be playing with pigs and sheep and building blocks of happiness. Fuck that. I'm here to piss people off and make people laugh.
Alrighty, next question here comes from Mr. Darkness115, and he asks, what does Vanoss mean, and why did you choose it? So, the name Vanoss, it's a really, really random story. I must warn you before I start it. So, basically what happened is my dad bought a PS3 back in the day, and this is before I played console or anything like that, and he just wanted to get it for the Blu-ray player, and he ended up making an account just because I think he wanted to sign up for a few things, and he called it Vanoss62, and the word Vanoss had to do with some type of BMW engine or something like that, because he's just really obsessed with cars. And I started using his account to play games, and people started calling me Vanoss. I got used to the name, and then of course when I eventually moved over to Xbox and started a YouTube channel, I just decided to keep the name Vanoss, take out the numbers, and yeah, that's what I have now. And I always knew it was going to be something original because it was really fucking random, first of all, but it wasn't, you know, based off any particular name or any particular word. It was just Vanoss. Like, what the hell is that? So I thought it was kind of cool, and it's kind of funny now because there's a lot of people that can't pronounce it. You know, people call me Vanoss, Vanoss, you know, Vanoss. I've been getting a lot of funny pronunciations in my videos, and I'm sure you guys have seen them. But I think it's comical. I love it. I think it's hilarious when people can't get my name right. But if you guys didn't know, or if you guys are new to this channel, obviously my name is pronounced Vanoss. And if you guys screwed it up once or twice, it's no hard feelings because pretty much everybody does.